Vietnam is the common home for over 100 million people. Each day, about 4,000 children are born, welcoming that many new citizens. Each year, a significant number of people renounce Vietnamese citizenship, leaving the S-shaped land to naturalize in another country. Notably the United States, as you can see in another video by Hai Kong. Annually, there are also those who choose to become Vietnamese citizens. How many are there and who are they? Perhaps for many, the first image of naturalized Vietnamese citizens is famous football players. There are those who have worn the Vietnamese national team jersey. Let's talk about some cases born and raised abroad, without Vietnamese blood, but who have been naturalized and hold Vietnamese citizenship. A prime example is Phan Van Santos, a Brazilian-born goalkeeper naturalized as Vietnamese, who sang the Brazilian national anthem. He took his surname and middle name Phan Van, similar to two famous long football figures, Phan Van Thai Am and Phan Van Do. That decision aimed to pave the way for Phan Van Santos to fulfill his dream of playing for the Vietnamese national team. When Santos officially became a Vietnamese, he held the #1 spot in goal for the Vietnamese national team under coach Melissa, targeting the 2008 AFF Cup. Everything went smoothly until the day he wore the Vietnamese national team jersey to face Olympic Brazil, his home country's team. This goalkeeper, whether unintentionally or deliberately, sang the entire Brazilian national anthem. The incident became a stain, and also blocked the path to the national team for many other athletes. Many also believe that Vietnam should have stricter regulations on naturalizing players. Later, there were Dinh Hoang Nai, Dinh Hoang La, players who played for Ninh Ben, the land of King Den, so they took the surname Den, adding it to their name. Mac here is Maxwell, and La is Nicola in their names. There was also a player named Hoang Det Sai, who played for Viet Sai Cement Ninh Ben, so he took that name, quite. Then other names like Hoang Du San Sung, Du Mi Lo, Nguyen Ben Ba Sen, and most recently, Nguyen Zong Sun. The Brazilian-born player originally named Rafael Sun played very well in the Nam Dinh club jersey. And many hope he could join the Vietnamese national team to solve offensive issues. This refers to those born entirely abroad without Vietnamese blood. Not counting players of Vietnamese origin, with grandparents or parents who are Vietnamese. So, how many people naturalize as Vietnamese? Naturalizing as Vietnamese is a process with many strict conditions and is not widespread. According to estimates from the Vietnamese Ministry of Justice and some published press sources, the number of foreigners naturalizing as Vietnamese annually ranges from 100 to 500 people. This figure is a very small portion compared to the number of Vietnamese naturalizing in other countries, and also very small compared to the new citizens some Southeast Asian countries admit. Because Vietnam sets clear criteria and stringent requirements for naturalization. Most cases of foreigners wanting Vietnamese citizenship fall into three main groups. The first group is overseas Vietnamese. These are people with Vietnamese roots who have migrated or lived abroad, and wish to return to Vietnam to live and work in their ancestral homeland. Our government has facilitated easier naturalization for these individuals with preferential policy. The second common group is foreigners married to Vietnamese nationals. This is also a frequent occurrence in society. These are foreigners who marry Vietnamese spouses and choose to stay in Vietnam, naturalizing after living here for a certain period. However, they must meet many requirements, which will be detailed later in the video. And the third group is foreigners with special contributions. These are rare cases. They are foreigners granted Vietnamese citizenship due to significant contributions to our country. They may be investors in Vietnam, individuals with exceptional achievements in Vietnam's economic, scientific, educational, or cultural. Legally, Vietnam has a strict legal system regulating naturalization. These are the basic conditions foreigners must meet to naturalize as Vietnamese. The most important condition to meet is the residency period. Foreigners wishing to naturalize as Vietnamese must have resided continuously in Vietnam for at least 5 years before applying for that. Why is the time period? Because Vietnam has a complex history with many wars and conflicts, especially in the 20th century. Protecting national security and upholding sovereignty has always been a top priority. The nationality law sets strict requirements to prevent destabilizing factors, protecting the country from risks posed by individuals who may have malicious intentions or threaten security. For example, the condition for continuous residence must be 5 years. This is a measure to ensure that foreigners applying for citizenship have sufficient time to integrate into society, and proving sincerity is not enough. They also need to demonstrate loyalty to the country before being granted. The second condition is about finance. Naturalization applicants need to prove stable finance with sufficient income to support themselves and their family. Why is the nationality law strict on this issue? The strictness aims to ensure that those granted citizenship must make real contributions to the country's development, rather than becoming a burden on the social welfare system. The third condition is knowledge of language and culture. This requires naturalization applicants to have basic knowledge of, as well as an understanding of Vietnamese customs, culture. This story has been mentioned many times on footballer Phan Santos. The third condition ensures that those naturalized not only contribute economically but also demonstrate commitment to Vietnamese culture, history, and society. And of course, naturalization applicants must have no criminal and must ensure good health status. With these strict but appropriate requirements, the number of foreigners naturalized in Vietnam annually is not large. As mentioned, the number is certainly under 1,000 and typically ranges from 100 to 500. There are many reasons why the number of people naturalized in Vietnam each year is well. It is due to the stringent, as mentioned, the regulations on residence and finances are quite strict compared to other countries, making the process complex, and not everyone has the patience to meet them. Vietnam does not accept dual citizenship, except for some special. This may cause many foreigners to hesitate when applying for naturalization because they had to give up their current citizenship. But this also benefits Vietnamese, because individuals with dual citizenship may not be completely loyal to or exploit Vietnamese citizenship for personal, political, or economic purposes. For example, there are regulations on investment, property ownership, land ownership that are exclusively for Vietnamese people, if not strictly regulated on this issue. Some foreigners would find ways to circumvent the law to have dual citizenship, and then Vietnamese people. Although Vietnam has a rapidly developing economy, the social welfare, education, and healthcare systems are still not attractive enough for foreigners compared to other developed countries. This makes naturalization in Vietnam not the top choice for many people. The first part mentioned football players naturalized in Vietnam. They naturalized in Vietnam without knowing how their desire to contribute to the Vietnamese national. But first, naturalization helps them have a better life, better income, and better integration with teammates. The following section will tell a special story about a special person who was granted Vietnamese citizenship for a very special reason. That person was born in Greece, named Kostas Sarantiras. He spent most of his life fighting against French colonialism in Vietnam, with a very Vietnamese name, Nguyen Van La. Notably, in 2010, he was recognized as a citizen by the Vietnamese. In 2013, he was honored to be awarded the title of People's Armed Forces Hero. Thus, 3 years after receiving citizenship, he was awarded. It is often written in newspapers that he was the first foreigner up to that point to be conferred this noble title. But more precisely, he was the first Vietnamese person born abroad and without Vietnamese blood, but recognized as a citizen receiving this title. Kostas Sarantiras was born in 1927 into a working-class family in Greece. At age 16, he was captured by a foreign army and forced to. He escaped and lived temporarily on trains crossing the border between Yugoslavia and Greece. After World War II ended, because he had no identification papers, he could not return to Greece. He was kept in concentration. In early 1946, he requested to join the French Foreign Legion and was sent to Indochina, with a dual mission: to liberate the peoples here and to disarm the Japanese fascists. His unit was brought to Saigon by warship, then traveled by train to the Central Region. From his very first days in Vietnam, he witnessed many cruel actions by French troops against the local people. He realized the French troops were merely invaders, so he conceived the idea of defecting to the Viet Minh Son. And he successfully carried out that intention, a wise choice. He was given a Vietnamese name Nguyen Van La and officially joined the Vietnam People's Army. New Vietnamese. New Vietnamese soldier. to join our ranks. In 1949, he was admitted to the Vietnam Workers' Party. His highest rank was captain. He participated in many tasks, once rode trucks at the Nong coal lines, the Sao Vang iron mines, and many times played the roles of French and American soldiers and some Vietnamese. In his private life, he had 2 Vietnamese wives. He once made the following statement, and here's the heartfelt words of a foreigner holding Vietnamese citizenship. I love the country and the people of Vietnam. They are born with a smile and depart with a smile. They are kind people. I have been recognized as a hero. They have remembered me all these years. They even wrote poems about me. One of them wrote, "We thank Greece for giving birth to a legend for us and becoming our hero." Thank you for your interest in watching this video. Do you know of any other famous cases of naturalization or being granted Vietnamese citizenship? If you find it interesting, you can subscribe to the Hidden Ledger channel, turn on notifications. For now, we bid you farewell. Don't hesitate, please leave your feedback, and we will conclude here.